What's up, y'all? We're playing a tune called the Carraroe, and this one came up actually relatively recently in the comments. I think it was just last week or the week before somebody requested it. And I played the tune, but it's not one that came up very often. And I just happened to be at a session like 3 days later and it came up. And I really wish I had recorded video or gotten audio of it because it'd make a really awesome intro, better than what I just did there. But we'll go ahead and just break it down. So basic melody right off the top here. That's the first half of the A part. You notice I hung on that B for a fair bit. We'll get to that in the ornaments. There's a lot you can do with that. But there's a couple of things you can do melodically too there, but just for simplicity, I figure that works. Second half. Very similar. Just the very end of it's different, like really just the last bar. So altogether the whole A part. You may have noticed it ends kind of on an offbeat there. That's basically just because of how the transition works into the B part, which we'll get into now. I played the whole B part because hopefully you picked up on the fact that it's almost identical all the way through. It's just that very end, which happens to be a repeat of the end of the A part. So, right, it's the end of the A part. Hopefully you guys pick up that melody fairly quickly. Because it's so repetitive, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it as far as different ornaments and stuff. So we're gonna dive into that. Right off the bat in the A part, you're bouncing around between the D and the F sharp. You can do a triple roll. That's what I kind of like to do. I also do the slide too. I do tend to cut these using breath tonguing to break up the notes a bit. It just kind of gives it a bit of that jig feel. I did a whole other video on that. Hopefully you're kind of getting the hang of that, but the jigs definitely need a bit of that bounce. So you use the tongue just to interrupt that. That one I just do that pop, that kind of finger bounce thing, where it kind of forces that grace note out there, forces that cut in there. And on the B, I mentioned when we were kind of running through the basic melody, the B is held. And so it's a good spot to put in a roll. You can do a triplet, or a roll, or something else, whatever you feel like, I guess. Lots of options, I suppose. So then after the roll or the triplet or whatever you want to do. So that, I do that same kind of popping thing. As I hit the A, pops the B finger up. And I do the same thing on the E. As it just pops that F sharp finger up. B part jumps straight up to the D. You can either just play it, so the A part finishes. And I usually just jump the octave, just kind of works. You can do triplets, you can do a couple things. Sorry. You can do a triplet or a cran. And I think I did that kind of in the up-tempo bit a little, once or twice anyway. That's just cuts on the A. I'm going to try not to blow everybody's eardrums out here, but. And just a couple of fairly simple ones there. Honestly, the reason I don't play a ton of complicated ornaments on those higher notes is because it's easy to break them. The more complicated you make it, the more likely you are to crack the note. By all means, try it, but I like to kind of keep it simple if I... That on the E is kind of a double cut, I guess. Get a cran there. And a short roll. Land on the cran there to go down. And again, those kind of popping things that I like to do. Probably way too much, but I think it sounds cool. Hopefully you guys dig this tune. Listen to it. It's a pretty popular one. Like I said, it doesn't really come up at my session for whatever reason, but it did the other day, and I was glad because it kind of just worked out with this video. So let me know what you think. If you have any other requests, questions, comments, by all means, holler at me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.